Well, Madison and Israel, congrats to you both. I've seen the movie twice. I had so much fun with it in a way. I loved it. I honestly just want you guys to take me back to the filming in the Florida Aquarium and I guess like Rain and Caleb's date day because it seemed like you guys had such a great time. Madison, I'll start with you. What do you remember about filming that sequence and how long did it take for you guys to film that sequence?
It was so much fun. There was a little bit of drama that day, actually.
Really? What happened?
Here's the tea.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to be filming that day, I think. I don't remember what it was, but it was kind of like a secret mission. Like we just kind of like went for it and like we were gonna see what happens. But I'm glad we did because we got so much awesome stuff and it was kind of fun because I don't think we were allowed to be there or whatever we were doing. I don't know. We were allowed to be there.
I think I don't know if it's smart to say this. I don't think the proper permits were acquired, but
they let us in.
They let us in because I think either Joe or Robbie knew somebody. So I'm not sure, but it was a lot of fun filming because everybody there was an extra in a film, and I don't think they realized. So it was nice having a very real set for a day where everybody was actually enjoying the aquarium and even, following to the ice cream shop and everything.
Yeah.
All of that was kind of shot guerrilla style, but it was a lot of fun and we were with it. There was a bit of danger to it. So
yeah, we like out, just like sneaking around and just like literally we just had like the best day ever. So I'm glad it carried over.
Yeah, the cinematography honestly looked gorgeous. That shot of you guys in front of the aquarium was so beautiful. Honestly, yeah, yeah, exactly. Madison, I spoke with Castille for 8 minutes, and I spoke with her about the development of the story and your guys' conversations, and she said that you just came into the audition and honestly did something and blew everyone away. I'm just curious for you. We've seen a lot of teen thrillers, but not a lot of ones where the central character has schizophrenia, a major, mental illness. So how did you approach the character and approach Rain and figure out exactly how you were going to do it without overdoing it? Because you did it so perfectly.
It required a ton of research, a ton of research. I still to this day, I'm like, I hope I did enough research because that was definitely, for me, it was the most important thing. Like I want to give the most authentic portrayal that I possibly can. And just speaking with friends and family members and just being as educated as I possibly could. A lot of it came from working with just Castille one-on-one and discovering it together. We also followed a memoir written by Ellen Sachs that really was kind of a Bible for us and really guided us through just Rain's journey and where she started and where she is now. So it was very challenging, but I was so happy to be a part of it and to be a part of Rain and her story.
Yeah, jumping from Jumanji to this. I mean, I actually just watched Nocturne this morning, and you were excellent in that as well. Israel, I actually spoke with you for the Bling Ring when you were here in Washington, D.C. doing a tour years ago. You've been in some of my favorite movies. I'm obsessed with Happy Death Day. I love To All the Boys. I was like, you know what I mean? So like, I am just interested watching you here as Caleb. I've been watching you for years now. What did you learn about yourself as an actor playing Caleb and working with Madison in this particular role?
Oh goodness, that's a hard one. I feel like what I took away from this entire experience is having more of an open mind. I think everybody likes to think they have an open mind, and everybody likes to think that they understand maybe more than they do. And with this project specifically, I've realized that I will never know enough. And it's cliche to say, but you can learn something new every day. And with schizophrenia specifically, I feel like even the experts on schizophrenia are still learning about schizophrenia. So it was definitely an interesting environment to be in. But playing these endearing characters that are really there just as a totem of support. I love those, and I'm glad I got to tap into that with Caleb. And I mean, Rain and Caleb's energy is great. Madison and I had a lot of fun doing that, and I'm happy that it came out the way it did. kind of is all encompassing to a bunch of different emotions, a bunch of different thoughts that we have, and a bunch of different misconceptions that we have over mental illness.
Yeah.
So it was fun, but that's
They honestly, yeah, no, thank you for speaking that on that. I love that answer. Congratulations to you both. I can't wait for fans to see this. Like I said, I've seen it twice as like a trying to do a good deep dive for you guys. And I just loved the movie so much. Thank you for your time today and hope you guys stay safe. Can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Thank you. I'm glad
you. Hi, Castille. This is a huge honor to talk to you. I have to say, I'm a huge After fan, so I'm so excited to talk to you about that. But since we have some time today, I absolutely loved Fear of Rain. I've seen it twice now. I kind of want you to take me back to when you were first writing the screenplay, because we've seen a lot of thrillers, a lot of like teen thrillers, but not a lot where the central character has mental illness, specifically schizophrenia. So now that I've seen it twice, I'm honestly just curious what that inspiration was when you were writing the screenplay, girl, because it is so good.
Thanks. Yeah, so I wanted to tell a story about mental illness that challenged the stereotypes. And I think schizophrenia and so mental illness has been something that I've always been really passionate about because it's run in my family, especially the women. And so because I like to tell women-centered stories, that was obviously going to be my protagonist. But I zeroed in on schizophrenia in particular because I think it's the most stigmatized and the most misunderstood. And the more I learned about it as I was writing it, the more fascinated I was with it and everything neurological that goes along with it and the symptoms and everything. So it really, like, once I pinpointed that, everything started kind of falling into place.
Yeah. How did you decide what aspect ratio you were going to shoot it on in like 1:8:5? I'm honestly just curious because it's one of my favorite aspect ratios in a film. And it's so beautiful. It was a gorgeous, beautiful picture on my TV downstairs. Why'd you decide on that aspect ratio?
I think it just looks great with people's faces.
It does.
I mean, it's purely aesthetic. It wasn't like a artistic choice necessarily. I just wanted I wanted to really be able to see every single thing that was going on in her face, because that sort of is the movie, right? It's like her experience of the world.
Yeah. So I haven't spoken with Madison and Israel yet, but what I was wondering from you is like, what were your initial conversations like with Madison and how she was going to play Rain? Because like you said, there's a fine line in crossing it. So you don't want to overdo it, but do it realistically. So how did you and Madison decide how you were going to ultimately portray her?
Well, I mean, honestly, she came into the audition and blew us away. So clearly she had done something in advance that I didn't even need to tell her. But I also recommended the book, The Center Cannot Hold, which I'm sure she'll tell you about, that is a firsthand account of this very brilliant woman who has schizophrenia. And so that was kind of the jumping off point. But I think we had a lot of discussions about doing the research because she needed to have firsthand experience. Like, it's not just me that should just be making this thing out of my own head. I wanted it to be grounded in reality. And I sent her tons of links to different videos and stuff like that for her to see. And but I honestly think she just approached it from a very real place, because the story is about a teenage girl, and the reality is teenage girls have fluctuating emotions, and so the schizophrenia is just another element of what she's going through, another obstacle for her. But I think she looked at it more as just a teenager with high stakes.
So I was honestly curious when I was watching Fear of Rain. There's this really cool, beautiful montage sequence with Caleb and Rain in the Florida aquarium. Of course, the car is really similar too. And I'm honestly just curious. I don't know when you shot this film, if it was 2019 or even earlier. But I was curious if that sequence like kind of had anything into play with your conversations with
right? So we actually, I think we shot right around the same time, because I just heard recently that apparently Madison was like in the running for After, and
oh my God, I didn't know that.
Gotten it, she wouldn't have been able to film Fear of Rain. So we must have filmed right around the same time. So I hadn't actually seen it until after I got done with Fear of Rain. And then I did see After come out, and I was like, oh my God, this is actually quite like there are similar elements.
Well, like you said, you love telling female stories, stories that are focused on women. I honestly am just curious, what it was like to shoot in Bulgaria over the last 2 months. I mean, that's like my main question for you. And also, I know in like the rap video for After, you mentioned thanking Anna and Jen. I'm honestly just curious if you could elaborate any more on how Anna and Jen were specifically involved being virtual in Bulgaria.
Yeah. So we did a lot of work in prep,
Yeah.
developing the script.
Yeah.
And I worked with literally every single day. We had conversations as I was rewriting the script. And they weren't in Bulgaria. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about all of this.
I know.
Yeah.
The best, and I don't want to get you in any trouble, obviously, but all I can't wait to say is, can you tell us a little bit about any of like the gym sequence and the behind the scenes photos that were posted?
All I can say is that there's something coming very soon that you guys will love. Yes. And you'll see a little bit more. Yes. But yeah, they're very, very strict about their.
I know. What's something maybe that you kind of added in, or something that like you discussed with Hero and Joe that the fans are kind of going to be in a surprise for?
I think the biggest thing is making it really grounded. Those movies. I didn't really feel like I needed to stick with what had already been like the foundation that had already been laid. To me, the foundation is the books, and that's really where I jumped off. So I got, obviously I have the 2 actors, and that's similar, but everything else was fair play for me. I wanted it to be my version. And so I think that's, that's all I can say.
I know, Castille, I honestly am so excited. I'm so happy that you're on board. I'm so excited that they chose another female filmmaker to carry on the franchise. I honestly am, and the fans are so excited about it as well. Like I said, can't wait for them to see Fear Reign, and I cannot wait to see After We Fell. I like want it here right now. You'll be like, look at all of my stuff in my home office here.
Oh my God.
No, I'm so excited for it, girl. I can't wait for it. Thank you so much.